Hey, I just wanted to come to all of you guys and share with you an interview with someone I have followed for a while. Her name is Ashely Decker. She's a wellness coach and really focuses on whole food nutrition. I'm not going to give you an intro. I would like her to tell her a little bit about herself, her journey, why she's here, and the things that she offers. And then we're just going to kind of go through and I have a few questions for you, Ashely.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me here. I'm super excited. I love connecting with people. I love connecting with you, and it's my honor to be here. So thank you.
Great.
And I suppose a little bit about my journey. So I started my health and wellness journey was not great for the food, actually. Food was one of the last things I tackled. I started about a little bit earlier than that, 10, 12 years now ago, in cleaning up my home. So I first became savvy about things that we have in our home that are not very good for us, the cleaners and that kind of stuff. And it was only with my first pregnancy with my daughter that I started to think more about what I was eating. Yeah. And at that time, it was still more organic. So I was eating all the same old junk food, but I was eating the organic tortilla chips and the organic mac and cheese. But it still wasn't good for me, you know?
Right, yeah.
A slight upgrade, but not a wholesale change. And it was 2012 where we really had this monumental shift into a plant-based diet, whole food, plant-based diet. And that really was the massive changes that started to unfold after that. Shortly thereafter, because I had been in this healthy living space for a while, I realized I was incredibly passionate about it. And I went to school to become a health coach. I left my kind of corporate career. I was in human resources, operations and efficiencies and manufacturing. So I had more of a office job, and I just could not do that any longer and found myself coaching. And so I've been coaching since 2019. I coach on sorry. I keep talking and talking.
You're good. I always jump in, so you're totally fine. You are absolutely fine. That's really awesome. It sounds very similar to I also had worked in that corporate world, and coming out and coaching it's a nice shift, especially when you're on that journey yourself. So can you explain to us? So I know you and I have talked a little bit about the plant-based diet, or not even a diet, it's a lifestyle. How do you look at whole foods, and how has it really just shifted your life? Now, when I say whole foods, I'm adding in other things that aren't truly all plant-based, but explain a little bit about that to everyone.
Sure. So I'll say that even though my approach is plant-based and a lot of my clients come to make a plant-based change, not all of my clients. It's not mandatory that you have to be a vegan by any means. I'm open. My strong preference is exactly what you're talking about, whole food.
Right.
And the reason that that's so important is because we've really fallen trapped to this reductionist nutrition science. And so we've boiled everything down to its smallest pieces: vitamin C, vitamin E, our B vitamins, vitamin D, selenium, copper, magnesium, calcium. And we just started looking at foods from what essential vitamins, minerals, amino acids, lipids that they had, instead of looking at the whole package. And when we look at the whole package, when we look at everything that's in an orange, there is way more than vitamin C. It's not just a carbohydrate. It's not just some sugars. It's fiber. It's complex antioxidants. It's this beautiful package that really becomes the foundation for our cellular health. And so my understanding of whole foods comes to understanding that health in the body is created at a cellular level. You cannot take raw material in that is garbage and expect our health cells to function. Our cells are replicating, producing every single day. And if you have a sick cell, a dysfunctional cell, it makes more dysfunctional sick cells. And so I want to make sure that I start with very healthy cells right from the beginning, that I give them all of the materials that they need, and all that's in whole foods. So that's how I got here.
That is awesome. I love it. So my son tried doing, he did more vegetarian. He was trying to go vegan for about a year. It was interesting to watch that. So I think, for the most part, I have celiacs. I shared that with you. It's hard. It's really hard to make a food change. And people, I think, overcomplicate it. And they don't look at Whole Foods is Whole Foods. It comes from the ground. It's full of nutrients, like you said. And when we start feeding our body with the wrong things, so many different things change. And then when we start eating the right way, we find more energy and our body's functioning the right way. So I love that. Thank you so much for sharing that part. So the holiday season is upon us. It's next week. Even myself has to deal with stress of, we're working, we're helping other people get through it, coaching. How do you approach eating and food during this time of the year? Because so many people are in this diet mentality of, I can't eat this, I can't eat that. So how do you approach it?
Yeah. I think that's the first part, right? Is breaking away from that diet mentality. So coming into Thanksgiving, prior to the holiday season, I'm so consumed with helping people through this, because this is the time that people say, well, screw this, all bets are off. I just about swore. I don't know if that's okay here.
It's fine. Don't worry.
Really hard to not get through without an F-bomb here.
I swear like a sailor too. I just try to keep it as PC as possible, but you're totally fine. That's actually why, I love watching your videos and everything, because you are so real and fresh about everything. So just be yourself. Be yourself.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that so much. So people just say, fuck it, right? That's what they say. I'm just going to eat whatever. It's that season. And really, when we think about it, it's not that many meals. It's not that many meals over the holiday season.
Right.
Maybe you have a work party. Maybe you have a couple nights out with your friends. Maybe you have a couple of different Christmas gatherings, or if you have another faith, a couple of other gatherings that relate to your own faith. It's a few nights, it's a few meals. And yet we have somehow said that the 6 weeks from Thanksgiving to New Year's is a free-for-all. And so to me, that first is the check, right? That's bananas. I'm still living real life. In the same way, if we put it in terms of, it's the holidays, we're just going to slide into 2019. You still go to work every day, you're still being a mom every day. We don't let all these other responsibilities go. Why would we let go of the responsibility of taking care of ourselves?
Right.
So starting there. And then for the most part, I'm an add in kind of person. I believe strongly in adding in. It really helps us when we're moving away from restrictive diet. I can't eat that. That's not good for me. Bad foods feeling. And if I'm going out to a place that I know is probably, sometimes when I go to a holiday thing, Chris and I have a holiday party tonight, actually, I know that there's going to be really limited options for me, right? And that's just the truth. So I'm going to take care of myself before I go. So I might have some veggies before I go, or I might make a salad before I go. And then when I'm there, I'm just going to make the best possible choice. I'm not just going to suddenly drop my values because I went to a Christmas party. And then I hold true to that. Even if I end up, if they have a plant-based or something that I can eat, that's not great. Maybe they do have fries. Okay, I had fries. Yeah. My life didn't.
Let it go.
Yeah. It's okay.
I always think of the song from Frozen, Let It Go.
Yes, exactly.
I love it. I try to do the same thing. And I always think, no matter where you go, there's going to be fruits and vegetables, but sometimes I don't know if they've been washed properly or things like that. That always, that does scare me still, because I get so sensitive to certain things. What are your favorite this time of the year? Do you have some favorite veggies and fruits? And I wanted to ask you this before, but do you grow your own food in the summer?
Yes. Yeah. So yes to all things.
Yes.
We have just moved to this farmstead. This time last year, actually, is when we moved here. So that's why the house is under construction. Yeah. And we have a massive garden outside that we only planted about half of this last year. We ambitious. And so I still have kale in my freezer and Swiss chard and tomatoes that we're still pulling out. So we do grow our own. We believe very strongly in growing our own because one, it puts us in control of our food system. We know what we did. We knew what we grew. It is also incredibly affordable. A pack of seeds is way cheap if you can invest your labor and some water into it. And then the other piece that's really important is I see this even with my kids, that they were so involved in the gardening process that they were so excited to eat the fruits and vegetables. Yeah. Things that they weren't even maybe inclined to eat before. You know, my son is like pulling off, you know, a kale leaf and he's eating it out in the garden. And he's like, oh, this isn't so bad. You know?
I love it.
I love it. Yeah, had that connection.
Yeah. I missed that. I'll have you come out and help me build my garden here in our backyard now that we finally have space to do it. But my son growing up loved that kind of stuff and being able just to pull out a carrot. And I was like, it's dirty. It has dirt on it. And he's just like, I don't care. It's so good. It's good to teach your children that stuff. Definitely.
It is so good.
Yeah. And so your favorite fruits and veggies?
So I'm very seasonal. I'm a big believer in seasonal eating. So we slow down in the winter. And I think that's what nature calls for. You know, nature slows down, we slow down. I take this time to be really reflective in my own path and my own journey. The type of exercise I do even changes. So I go to more like yoga style practices, those types of things where I'm just a little bit slower. And then I start to eat this way too. So roots, tubers, all of the more dense, heavier foods that we have sometimes pushed away because they're bad carbs or whatever we believe they are. That's not really true. No, they're still good for us. They're still nutrient dense. I love a potato. And right now, I'm also obsessed with Brussels sprouts. So every kind of
good.
So good at this time of year.
So good. Roasted everything.
So that's what I make a lot, to be quite honest. If there's anything that I am eating like constantly, it's Brussels sprouts. The other thing that's a little bit more on the snack. I wish I did. Oh. I can't do that.
I knew I was weird.
They're just a little too bitter for me still.
Yeah.
But, you know, that's not completely true because I can eat them when they're shaved up in a salad.
Oh, right.
To me, it's fine. Yeah.
I think it just depends, but so I have a question I'm going to add on real quick. I'm sorry. So root vegetables, and we're talking about this somewhat in our VIP groups that we run, but they talk about like starches and stuff. And I believe in what you're saying too, truly, that root vegetables, I mean, this is the time of the season that I probably crave more sweet potatoes, regular potato, any potato, and those root type vegetables are the starchier ones. And sometimes people feel like they can't touch those kind of foods and that they're unhealthy for them. And I don't know where they get that from, but they're good for you. So how do you deal with some people that may say like, I can't do root vegetables?
Yes. So I think it's a common misunderstanding because we have labeled all of our carbohydrates mostly bad, right? Yeah, and just that goes right on with that reductionist nutrition idea. We've said, oh, well, carbohydrates turn into sugar, sugar's bad, so they're bad, which is a vast oversimplification because those starches are fundamental in feeding our healthy gut bacteria. Without that starch, without that non-soluble fiber, which is present in all of our great root vegetables. All of our vegetables have non-soluble fiber, but it's really present in our root vegetables, that starchy quality. It's so good for our gut bacteria. So I have joked before in the past that a lot of times I eat more for my gut bacteria than I actually do for me and my own taste buds, because without them, I lose my immunity. Our gut is 80% of our immunity. And I lose a ton of my energy as well because the way our gastrointestinal system is working directly relates to the amount of energy we have available. So that's the first and foremost part, is we start getting an understanding of gut bacteria. And then if there's still some reservations, it's understanding that they're complete, they're polysaccharides. Most of our starches are polysaccharides, which means that they have this huge chain of the way that they release sugar into the bloodstream, because there's so much the complexity to them, our complex carbohydrates, that they actually do a better job stabilizing our blood sugar than any other food group. So they're good for you in that way as well. And they're satisfying. I guess I could keep going reason after reason.
I know. I'm glad that you shared that, because I have people who are just, I mean, there's people that could join that are really scared of carbohydrates, and it's good to know. I mean, people need to understand and be re-educated on what's good and what's bad, and because there's a lot of misrepresentation out there. Thank you. So in the world of instant gratification, how have you made eating healthier easier for you? It sounds like it's been a journey for the most part, but I don't know if there's an easy, fast question for that one.
Sure. So the easiest thing that I did was let go of this preconceived concept that we have, that breakfast looks this way, lunch looks this way, and dinner looks this way, right? So breakfast is cereal and maybe a piece of fruit, or maybe it's an omelet. Lunch is salad and a sandwich, soup and a sandwich, and dinner is meat, potatoes, and a veg, right?
Right.
Once I abandoned that concept and said, well, actually, all I need to do is feed this body. It doesn't matter how I feed this body. I can feed it anything. And because I know that whole foods have complete nutrition, every single whole food has complete nutrition, especially our plant-based folks, then it doesn't matter. If I'm on the run and all I eat is 3 bananas today and a handful of nuts, am I going to be starving? Probably, because that's not enough food for me in an average day.
I'm like, maybe you need to eat more.
I might be hungry, but I'm still okay, right? You know, like there's nothing that says like, well, you didn't have a sandwich, so you didn't have lunch. My sandwich can be anything, right? Like it's not, I am just constantly grabbing food, to be quite honest.
Yeah, yeah. It's hard. I know that. I think I listened to something about tracking and stuff, and we teach people to track only to show them that maybe you are not eating enough of the right macronutrients, that kind of stuff. But I try to some of them stress so much about it. And you're so right that, it's just eat. You need to eat. And just eat and don't stress about it. And that's, I think, a lot of people that are trying to lose weight, or they want to feel better, or whatever their situation is. I think that's really key. They need to just realize to stop stressing so much about it. When we stress about everything else, let's not stress about food.
Right. So, and that's like my main thing.
Go ahead.
Sorry to add
no.
quick. I worry about categories of food. I don't necessarily worry about it from like, what did I have in this meal? So did I have beans today? Yes or no? Did I have starches today? Yes or no? Did I have greens, nuts, seeds? Did I have some fruit? Once I can start checking those boxes, then at the end of the day, if anything is missing, I go, oh, well, I didn't have any greens today. Oh, it definitely has to go into dinner, right? It's about the whole day, not just this moment in time.
Yeah. So you personally do plant-based food and everything. How do you obtain the right amount of protein throughout the day? What are some of your go-to choices? And like healthy fats, I'm sure you get a lot of that from avocados, because I love avocados, but nuts, things like that. So what are your proteins that you find?
So I believe in more of a scale that says like 10% fats, 10% protein, 80% carbohydrate.
Okay.
And that is really easy to obtain, because every single vegetable, every single plant on this planet is 11% protein by volume. Just right out of the gate.
Yeah.
And our body recycles our amino acids. Our body would rather not use up our amino acids as energy because it's so wasteful. So even this old kind of outdated idea of complete amino acid structures, really we're pulling amino acids from everything all the time. And so as long as I am broad in what I'm eating, I have no problem in getting my protein level.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's in everything. It really is. And to put this in comparison, human breast milk, which grows a baby from birth all the way up to a toddler, it's a rapid growth cycle for a human baby.
Right.
Human breast milk is only 3 to 5% protein by volume. So if all we need is 3 to 5% protein by volume to grow a baby, I don't need that much more, you know?
Do you think that some people, and I try to keep people within their goals for their protein, do you think that some people overdo protein and it affects our body negatively? Yeah.
Absolutely. There is a strong correlation that's mounting, because when we have excess protein, the body has to do something with it. It doesn't get stored.
Right.
So unlike our carbohydrates, where, you know, if we really have a lot going on and the body thinks that we need to, we can store those as fat on the body. That's a real thing. We have a mechanism. We can store glycogen in our liver, and do store glycogen in our liver. When it comes to excess protein, we just remove it. If we have more than we need, it goes out as waste product. And the process of breaking down that protein requires a ton of water, and it can be really damaging to our kidneys. So there is a growing trend of renal failure when we get a lot of excess protein.
Or they're just, and I've done a lot of research on some of these other programs that are out there, and I'm not going to name any of them, but we're in an area that's huge in one of the healthcare systems pushing that out. And I've seen like lawsuits and things of people going into renal failure because that's all they eat all day are these protein shakes or, you know, bars and stuff, and not having a balanced diet. So I hate throwing out the word diet, but anyways, so this is a lot of information. It's awesome. I love everything that you are doing and teaching other people. And I want you to just, you know, tell us, like, what do you do in your groups, and how can people get in touch with you if they want?
Sure, absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah.
I run courses. So I have a couple of different courses that I run throughout the year. I do an 8-week plant-based diet transition, which we just wrapped that. This December 31st, I'm starting a 12-week program, Life Changers Manifesto. And that program is a little bit different than anything that I do, because it is all about disbanding this, like, starting on Monday, change my whole life, that BS, because it's really unsustainable. So this program is all about sustainable change in several areas of your life with really, really simple tweaks. And people come into the group and, like, they do the first couple of weeks and they're like, Ashely, you really didn't ask a lot of me, and I feel like I've just barely done anything. I don't think that this is really as transformational as you say it is. And I'm like, no, you just hang on with me. And then by week 8, week 9, week 10, they're like, oh my God, my whole life is different.
I love it.
That's change.
I love it.
So those are some programs I offer. And then I also offer coaching. So that's really where I spend most of my day. I'm a Tony Robbins coach, and then I also have my private health coaching practice. And that gives me a great opportunity to work in not only food, which I love, but also how we're relating to ourselves, our body image, emotional eating, some of these other pieces that get in the way of some of our good intentions about eating.
That's awesome. I love it. So I am really excited to join you on December 31st for this lifestyle. What is it? Life-changing manifesto. I'm sorry if I said it wrong, but I'm really excited to go through that. I am not perfect, and I definitely am so excited to join that with you and a bunch of other women. So hopefully there's some other people that will join in with us. And I love the personal coaching that you do too. And really mindset people don't realize what, their self-talk and negative talk does to their body. So Lord knows I need help there too. We all need it, but
evolution.
And I think some people just kind of like, well, I got this. Or in your mentality too, how you say, well, they just say, fuck it, I'm just going to keep going and we'll see what happens. So I really, truly appreciate you doing this interview with me, and I'm excited to share it with everybody. Is there anything else you want to add at the end, or can people find you on Facebook? Are you on Instagram?
Yes, Facebook is probably the best place to find me. Ashely Decker, just my name. And then my group that is just a free group, hanging out there where I share some stuff more often, is Whole Life Wellness. That's my business.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Ashely.